Okay, today is January 30th. Here's the first frame I made. That was station 24. That's kind of in the middle of things, or exactly in the middle of things. So it's a little more normal, shall we say. The problem I had was I had that built on my drafting table and framing table here, and I was gonna slide it off the edge here, stand it up, hook it up to the chain hoist, pick it up, drop the bottom on the other side of the keel here, and then move it over there. But a couple problems with that. One, the 1x6 running across the top there was not strong enough. It was cracking. And the other one is I don't know if it would have made it up over the between the cable there that I've got for my centering, for my plumb bobs hanging off of them there. So that center line is probably going to have to come down for me to do this. Anyway, I was thinking about starting in the middle of the boat here, getting the frames done that were in the engine room, so I could start, getting dimensions for like engine mounts, the engine and fuel tanks and that sort of thing. Good plan, but I don't see how I'm ever going to get these frames built here. And then if I've got frames in the middle of the boat already attached, I don't know how I'm ever going to get these frames. I suppose they could come just straight back here. Well, anyway, so what I decided to do was to start making the stern frames first and then put them in place right away, so I can get all these frames attached and then work my way forward. But I need to get the keel done for that. In the shaft log here, I wanted to get another coat, actually probably 2 coats. It'll give me like 4 coats total. But anyway, I put a coat on there today on both sides of the shaft log. Put a coat on both halves there. And then when I go to assemble it, I'll put one more coat on the inside before I assemble it. And I think what I'm going to do is assemble the shaft log on the sawhorses here. And then since I'm going to have a hole in the middle, I think I'll just stick a pipe through there, an 1.5-inch pipe or whatever. And then that'll of course be when it's attached to this, because this piece is getting pretty heavy and pretty awkward to move around. And then I was wondering, how am I going to get this thing glued onto here? I mean, you can pick it up with the chain hoist, providing you have a strap underneath of it, but if you got epoxy on there and thickened epoxy, and that's not going to work. But anyway, if I can run this pipe through here and then just pick the whole thing up, put the straps on either end of the pipe, then I can just pick the whole thing up, position it over top, get my glue and everything in place, then just lower it down. And I think that should work fine. But anyway, so to start getting frames put up, I need to get the back end of the keel done here. I might be able to do a couple of these smaller frames. These frames more towards the stern aren't real big because they're short, because the stern sits up quite high. And this is the case here. This is station 46, which is the aftmost station other than the stern itself, or the transom. And you can see this one's kind of interesting. I don't know how to do this. You lay everything out according to the table of offsets, which is fine and dandy. I got that laid out and plotted out here all right. And I expected these were going to be shorter, but this winds up being so short at such a steep angle. The way he was talking about in his book, and the plans don't show these stations back here. So what I had to do was cut this piece here to fit in there to get up to my raised shear, because the shear is right here. This thing, actually, if you look at those boats, the water line's, way back here, because this is quite high above the stern. So anyway, I wasn't quite sure how to do this, so this is what I did. I cut a piece here and cut this piece and then cut this piece. It's not going to work the other one's the way he was talking in the book, and the way it shows in the plans, you can piece in a little piece to square up these frames, which is what I did here and here. You can see those pieces just to square up that. I glued them, put a couple screws in there. I'll probably put some lag bolts in there or whatever to strengthen those even a little more. But as you can see, I'm doubling my frames up. Yeah, I don't know. It's making a lot more work out of it. But it gives you an overlap down here of these 2x6s, which is going to make them significantly stronger. Well, of course, doubled up is going to make them twice as strong regardless, but then this joint is even that much stronger by doubling these up and overlapping them here. So instead of using 1 inch, he was talking about like subfloor plywood on these gussets, I'm using 3/4 inch, but I am using marine grade plywood, which is a higher quality, denser, stronger plywood anyway. So I would guess this 3/4 inch marine is probably almost as strong, if not as strong as the 1 inch anyway. But I couldn't get 1 inch. They don't stock 1 inch anywhere around here, so but they've got 3/4 inch marine grade. Go figure. And like I said, these you can see here where it was cracking, it was twisting really bad. It wasn't going to survive the pull. So next time I pick up lumber, I'm going to have to get some 2x6s to go up here instead of these 1x's. I think the 1x cross pieces are still fine, and probably the 1x down here. But if I'm going to be lifting and whatnot on up there, I think I better put 2x6s in there in the future. So I'll pick up 2x6s. And yeah, this stuff, this plywood, 80 bucks a sheet. And it's probably going to take me, I don't know, 9 sheets maybe to do everything. We'll see. And I was dinking around with the keel a little bit again. It's not perfectly level. It's got a little bit of a twist to it. Not much I can do about it now. It's plumb and, you know, horizontal up there towards the bow, and back here it's leaning just a little bit, I think this way. So I was thinking about planing some of this off here to get it level again, but I think I'll wait with that until I go to put my that rearmost timber that goes back to build up the stern. I'll probably level it above these. I don't know if I really want to start trying to level and put twists on this before I get the shaft log piece glued in there, because that's pretty straight and pretty good shape. So we need to get this piece on, and then I might be able to start putting some frames on. I probably not these far stern frames, but these are small enough they'd be relatively easy to handle anyway. Let's see, how far back could I put frames with just this piece on? 36 would be the first frame I could put on before I get this piece built. But I'm out of epoxy. I used what little epoxy I had left to do this today. And Monday I've got 14 gallons coming in, 10 gallons of resin and 4 gallons of hardener. So Monday I'll have plenty, and today is Saturday, so I'll have plenty of epoxy next week, and we'll get some more stuff done. And this is the stem. This piece is done. Well, the glue up is done. So I'll be able to do some sanding and then get my patterns out and trace my patterns off on this thing and start getting this thing trimmed to fit up there. I didn't want to start doing sanding and planing here while I've got this stuff exposed. I made that mistake the other day. I swept off the sawdust off the top of the keel there, and I had wet epoxy in one of those the other day, and I brushed some wood chips and sawdust in there, and then I had to go through and sand and chisel and whatnot, that stuff out of there then, so I didn't want to do that again. So we'll wait for this stuff to cure, and then we'll go. And hopefully I can get this frame done today, or this part of the frame done today. I was hoping to do a frame a day. I thought, oh, that shouldn't be too hard to get a frame a day done, but all these angles, and then doubling up all the work with two pieces here. Yeah, it's not going to go as quick as I thought. And then once I get all the pieces cut out, then I have to come back and glue these pieces together. So that's going to limit what I can do in a day. I'm not going to be able to do a frame a day because I get that done and glued up, and then I can wait until the next day until the glue on the joints here cures, and then I can put the gussets on, cut the gussets and put the gussets on, which is fine. It's no big rush. I used polyurethane construction adhesive. It's an exterior grade of polyurethane. It's the same stuff I use on the gussets on the building here. Actually, all these buildings. It held up fine. I'm putting these together with actually, when I put the two pieces of 2x6 together, I'm screwing them together initially, and then I'm pulling those screws out and then filling the screw holes with glue when I go to put the gussets on. So after this glue is cured, then I put the gussets on and put glue in and fill all the screw holes that were holding them together initially. Then I put more screws in here to hold these gussets on. That's more just for clamping than anything else, because there are going to be some bolts that go through here yet too. But I think I'm going to leave these bolts or screws in. You know, Mr. Bueller was talking about using these screws for your exterior sheathing on your plywood sheathing, which is as close to the water as they're going to get, and he thought they'd be fine for that. So of course they're fiberglass over, but of course this is all inside too, so I don't see any reason why I can't leave these in here, so I'm going to. I don't think they're going to hurt anything, and they will certainly will help to stabilize it even more. Even though there's going to be bolts through there, those screws are going to help too. So that's where we are today. Plenty of jobs to do though. Getting to the point where I got multiple different things to be doing, and that's good. So it's not all the same thing every day. Okay, I'll update again when I hope. Maybe the dog has something he wants to say. Do you have any comments, Casey? Anything you want to tell the audience? Yeah, you're inside because it's crappy outside, right? Yeah. It's sleeting and drizzling outside. It's really, really icy out there. So the dog wanted to come in, which I don't blame him. All right, until next time.